You don't think he's gone?
Oh, God, no, he's not gone.
So what's been happening in your house, Deb?
Well, for starters, when we came home from Winnipeg after he passed, the morning we were going to go to your place so we could go to his funeral, I have a wall unit, and I have beautiful solar angels on top of it. Okay. But there is no way, they never get charged.
Right, because there's no light. There's no light coming into the room at that angle.
The light doesn't come to those.
Right.
They were glowing.
Oh.
The morning we were leaving.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. Like, that was the first creepy thing.
Okay.
Wasn't really creepy, bad.
Kind of comforting, kind of, spooky.
And, like, now, we were cleaning out his apartment.
Right.
When I was cleaning out his apartment, we shut all the lights off, closed all the doors, and I go back in because I forgot something. Every single time the kitchen light is on. Wow. But he slept with the kitchen light on all the time.
Okay.
So it was like, okay, you want me to leave the light on? I'll leave the light on.
Right.
And then one morning I was getting ready to do something, and all of a sudden his picture flew at me.
Oh, right off the wall.
Right off the wall.
Like horizontal, not just like a drop to the floor, but right across.
No, it threw at me,
Like he was trying to get your attention or something? Weren't you just you were just speaking about him or something too, I remember you saying.
Yeah, and the picture just came flying off. I said, okay, what is it you want me to do?
So, do you recall what you were saying about him just before that happened?
I don't recall.
I wonder.
We talk about him lots.
I know, of course.
And we went camping.
Right.
Right after he passed away, we went for a camping weekend because I needed to clear my mind.
Right.
And I had made a list of all the things I was going to bring.
Right.
And there was and I never write in the middle of my paper. Right. I write on one side and then in the other side. And then the middle column, somebody had written stuff.
Oh.
Like not a Ouija board, a Romoli board. Pennies. Like things that I would have never brought.
Okay.
Because my family doesn't know how to play Romoli.
Right.
And that was one of Terry's things he liked to play.
So suddenly on your list of things to bring, somebody wrote the word Romoli as in the board game, but that's one of the ones that he would have preferred to play.
Yeah.
Wow. Freaky.
And there was a few other things. I can't remember all the different things, but there was like 4 or 5 different things on that list.
Right.
That I never wrote.
Right.
And I was like...
Did I ever tell you the funny thing? I'm sure it's just my imagination or whatever, but, sometimes, I'm sure this happens to everybody a lot when you're not really focused on anything and you're just kind of like decontaminating yourself from the day, just kind of like purging your mind for the day and you just want to relax and whatever. And I remember it was about a week or two after you guys had been here after Terry's funeral. And I remember, like I do, go upstairs, I close the curtains, I get changed, right? And I remember, I don't remember if I was telling you this, but I remember I was getting changed, but I bent over in front of the curtains after I closed them. And I closed them a very specific way. I closed them in such a way that they overlap because they're velvety and they'll cling to each other. And then that way, no light comes in, right? Not like anybody can see me or anybody cares about my fat ass. But anyway, just whatever. And then it's like 4:30 in the afternoon. I bend over to pick something up. I think I was taking off my pants. And all of a sudden the curtain flew open for about a foot. Did I tell you about that?
No.
And I'm like, son of a bitch, don't do that. And I'm like, in my mind, it was almost like if somebody were to pull a prank on you and they'd flip the curtain open because they know you're so anal about keeping the curtain closed. And the first thought that popped in my mind, I wouldn't doubt if that frickin' Terry did that because just to pull a fast one on me. Ha, like that, right? Because that would be something he would have done.
Yeah.
Not see me naked, but I mean, just the fact being that I wanted a little privacy here and my mind was on neutral. And that was the first thing, because like we had brought some of his stuff home, right? Like you'd given me some of his stuff. So I have some, not precious treasures of his per se, but I mean, I have his selenite lamp that's special to me. I have it on my desk. I'm looking at it right now, so anyway. Also saying about your parents coming to visit you that time.
Oh yeah. I could see, like I was laying in bed and I could hear them talking, and then I could feel, I rolled over and I could see an impression of a bump, like someone was sitting there, and then another impression, and then it started being clear that it was my mom and dad, and they were saying that everything was okay, and it was like, okay.
Wow. And this, what time of day was this, like in the nighttime or?
Yeah, this was like middle of the morning, like about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so there was sort of like dawn, so you could sort of like see in the bedroom a bit, right? And...
Well, yeah, I could make out the figures for sure.
Okay.
But I could feel that someone was also sitting on the bed.
Wow, you like that pressure, like with somebody's putting their bum down.
Yeah, like you could see that on the bed that someone was sitting there.
Holy shit! And just to clarify for because I'll be airing this. Debbie's parents died while she was quite young. Her mom died when she was 14, and then her dad died when she was 17. And this would have happened when you were like in your 30s, correct?
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, like I was in my late 30s for sure.
Right.
Late 30s. Oh no, I'm still spring chicken. Actually, I was 12.
Bullshit. Sell it somewhere else, sister.
No, I was about 37.
Yeah. So I mean. And you're going through a very trying, stressful time at that point, right? And then your parents were coming to comfort you, is what it was.
Oh, and it was very comforting. Like I wasn't scared or
spirit never leaves, and you weren't scared because you knew it was them. You sensed it. You knew it.
Well, we had also lost a child, and we had she would play with my oldest child's toys at the most inconvenient time. We had this ball. It was musical. And it would roll by itself and play music. Like it had a switch, you turned it on and it played music. Right. And then she had this little stove, and it bubbled and made noises, and you put the pot on the element and it would turn red and glow. And so one night the little one was in bed and thinking, what the hell is going on in that bedroom? Here's this ball rolling around on the floor, playing music, going off, and it was like, okay, like, no more playing with toys after 10 o'clock, and then it stopped. Right. And then next day, her stove starts bubbling. Ooh. And there's no one near it, no weight on the element that you have to push on for it to bubble. Freaky. And it would make this noise, the bubbling. You come to the door, you look in, and it would stop. You turn your back, you walk away, turn around, and it would start again. And you thought it was Patricia. So I would say to her, Patricia, if you're going to play with these toys, you play with them during the day. You don't play with them at night. It's bedtime. Yeah. So we finally had to take the batteries out of these toys. Wow. Because she wouldn't stop playing with them late at night. And it was never, we always knew it was her because she would just play with the toys. Right. That's all she ever, and it was the noisiest, loudest toys. Of course, because that's reality, right? So. Yep. So we just took the batteries out, and even to this day, sometimes we'll find toys here, there, and everywhere, and I'll ask the girls, "Did you do that?" No. Oh. And then Adrienne will say no. And Mom, it was probably Patricia again. She always gets us in trouble. So now it's just convenient. I think it is now. It's they forgot it. It's the go-to. It's the go-to answer. Yes. That's funny. All right, so we are joined by Mary Lynn, a co-worker. I work with her at my day job, our day job. I will not say where that is. Anyway, she has a very interesting story that I've asked her to share with us on audio because she's told me this before and it blew my mind. So, how would you like to begin? Do you just want to tell us how the sequence of events happened? Or do you want me to ask you questions? What are you more comfortable with?
Yeah, no, I can just give you the sequence of events.
Sure.
To begin with, it started about 6 years ago, and I was sleeping in bed in the middle of the night, and I was on my right side, and I felt warmth behind my back, on my back side, and then all of a sudden I felt an arm come over and grab both my arms, and a leg come over and pin down both my legs.
Oh my God.
So I was completely pinned down, and I was trying to scream out, but nothing was coming out of my mouth. I was just literally in shock and pinned down, and I could feel the heat. And then somehow or another, after about a minute, I was trying to fight it, and then the presence, you could just feel it all go away, and you could actually hear my bed creak. So it's like my bed sank a little bit.
Yeah.
And it lifted and went away. And I thought that was an isolated, kind of weird experience. But then about a week later, I was doing the dishes in the kitchen, and I felt this sense right behind me again. I was facing the window outside, I was doing the dishes, and behind me, directly behind me at the bar stool, I turned around and I looked, and I could feel that there was a presence right there sitting on one of the bar stools watching me, and I felt like it was the exact same presence. It was the exact same feeling. So I mistakenly told my daughter about it, who I think she was about 16 at the time, and it really scared her and it made her nervous. And then I came home one day from work, and I walked up the landing, and I came into the kitchen, and she had come in the house 1 minute before me, and she was already in her room. And I turned to the right to look in the kitchen, and all the Tupperware from my Tupperware drawer was all over the kitchen floor, scattered. So I yelled at her, because just her and I at home, and asked her why she did that. And she said she was just in the kitchen a minute ago, and she didn't even go in the drawer, and it was just randomly thrown all around.
Wow.
So this started to concern me. I started to feel like this presence was getting a little bit aggressive, and it was scaring my daughter, and well, it was scaring me, of course. So I was telling a couple of people about this, and my sister-in-law knew a lady that this happened to her as well, a similar experience, not, of course not the same. So I phoned a medium, a lady in Winnipeg who's a medium in the St. Boniface area, and I explained to her what happened, and she said that she felt there was definitely a presence that was in our home.
Right.
And then she said the presence could have come from anywhere. Apparently they pick up your aura, like in a mall, in a movie theater, in a restaurant, wherever, and they just like your spirit or your aura, and they follow you home.
Okay.
And she said that what you have to do, besides the sage over the house, smudging it, is ask it very forcefully, but not, like, very sternly,
right,
but not aggressively. Ask it to leave and tell you don't want it to be there, and you want it to be gone.
Right.
So I was doing dishes another day, and I could feel it behind me. I could feel just the whole sense of it, and I turned around and I said, we don't want you here. We would like you to leave. We don't want you to come back. You're not welcome here.
Right.
And to this day, we've never had an episode since.
Okay.
So it's just a couple of isolated incidents, and then...
Yeah. So you're in the same house still?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And, like, when had you moved in? Like, how long were you there before things started? Like...
Oh, we had already been living in there for 20 years at least.
Wow, okay.
So nothing like that had ever happened before.
And you never did any renos or anything? Were there any changes around that time?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We actually redid the whole house that year, like,
okay,
flooring, drywall.
We're finding that seems to be a common thread, actually.
We redid the kitchen that year and everything.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously, renos seems to irk the spirits that are dormant in houses or homes. If it was attached to the home.
To the home.
Right.
Yeah.
But it seems to be almost 90% of the people we talk to or have heard stories from. Definitely.
Wow. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, weird, eh?
And that's the year we redid the entire house, so maybe it was just unhappy that we changed so much.
That could be it. Just letting itself being known, hey, I'm not cool with that, but whatever, you know. Not like they're going to change it back.
No.
Right? Damn well better foot the bill for that if they're going to go that extent, right? Like,
I saw in this episode once about spirits and ghosts, and this one ghost in this farm house, actually her compulsion is to clean the house.
Wow, nice.
I saw that on TV. So
everybody needs a ghost like that.
We all need that ghost.
No kidding.
Help yourself.
Another thing I would suggest if that ever happens again, and it does seem to work, sea salt. Spread sea salt around your bed. Like make a circle, so to say. It's just sea salt. But there's something, an element about sea salt. I don't know if it's because of its porous, like it's, you know, or because it seems to be more of a grounded mineral, you know. That's another thing too. But yeah, definitely the smudging's a big thing.
Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you.
And the thing about the smudging is what they say, and this makes sense too, whether you believe it or not. Because when you're smudging, you leave the windows open and you're helping a spirit. Say if a spirit is trapped, or if it just doesn't, it's just there because it doesn't know where to go. The formality of smudging is kind of like sacred to the point where it helps cleanse, because it's helping the spirit float out of the
Float out the
house.
window,
Like it kind
the
of
doors.
helping them to, you know, that